Hello guys, it's Ankit and I'm back again with another new video on our Grand Python series. In the previous video I have given an introduction on Python, and in this video I am going to talk about all the basic data types that are used in Python. And I'll try to cover all the advanced data types in some other video when we'll start with all the advanced topics of Python. This will be a very informative video, so I request you all to stay till the end of this video. With that said, let's jump into it. Since our childhood, we all know that the computer understands only two things, that is 0 and 1. All the instructions that are given to the computer is encrypted in the 0 and 1 format. Similarly, in case of Python also, it just acts as a bridge between the user and the computer. Python takes the code in a manner of English, which is customized and oriented. This type of format is generally known as its syntax. Every programming language has their own syntaxes in which they are written. This Python code is compiled and converted into that 0 and 1 format, which is understandable by the computer. With that said, let me go into a deeper part of it. For learning data types, you must be familiar with two terms, that is, mutable and immutable data types. Now, I'll explain them one by one to you. What do we mean by mutable data types? Now, some of the data types are there which can be modified while or in the program. These data types are generally known as mutable data types. Some examples are list, sets, dictionaries, and many more. Okay, I'll make another video on mutable data types. You must be watching that video now. And the another topic is immutable data type. Immutable data types are those data types those who can't be modified. Now, what do I mean by not being modified? Yes, these data types cannot be actually changed while the programming. Now, examples of some immutable data types are string, boolean, integer, float, and tuple. Now, I'll make each and every one data structures video individually, but our today's main focus will be studying immutable data types like string, integer, float, and boolean. So now, string. What do we actually mean by string? The most fundamental and basic topic of Python is understanding string. Now, whenever you guys are writing any of the line, suppose you are writing, whenever you are writing English, let me get into this code compiler. Now, whenever you are writing anything like I'm writing my channel's name, that is Ankit Day. Whenever I am writing like this, in this way, you guys generally write English, but this type of format is generally not recognized by Python. Whenever you write this and you press the run button, you will see that it's ending up with a invalid syntax error. Now, I have told you just now that there are proper formation and orientation, those are known as syntaxes. Now, Python has its own way of writing this kind of code. So, whenever you are writing this kind of code, please be vigilant and see that whether you are writing it correct or not. This is not the format of writing anything in Python. Whenever I talk about string, it's written in three different formats. First format is using single quotes like this. Whenever I am giving a single quote and writing anything means anything, like Ankit or anything, bad ball, something, whatever I write. Like now if I write Ankit Day, See, the color has changed. Why? Because Python has identified this kind of data type. Now whenever I write something like this and whenever I play or click the run button, then you will see that program finished and nothing is hampered right now. So what does that mean? This means that Python actually understood that this is a data type. So anything you can write, you can even write single quotes and then some number, or let me run it once, then you will understand much more better. If I run it, see, the program got finished normally. So this type of code always Python understands. So I request you all to follow this kind of guidelines basically for understanding. Now this was the first step of writing the string. Second was using double quotes. Now if I write like this also, anything you can write in between in this manner. If you write and I'll run, see, there is no problem. What does that mean? That means that Python easily understands that this is a string data type. So let me move on to third procedure. Third procedure is using triple quotes. If I write something in triple quotes and write ANKIT day, and if I close this triple quotes, yes, and now if I print it, see, the program got finished well. Now what does this mean? This means that this function is also a string. So in this way we can identify, and you must have a question in your mind that why do we need three methods of writing this? Now the answer is very simple. That is, if I need to implement a single quote in between this sentence, what we will need to do, like, see, if I start with a single quote and write ANKIT is ANKIT I'll, and if I start giving this single quote and if I write LL, see, do you understand what's the difference? If I give there the single quote, the Python interpreter will understand only that much part as a string index. So whenever I need to give a single quote, I must always start with a double quote, so that whenever I give a single quote in between the running procedures, Python don't create a mess. Like, see, if I write like this ANKIT, then if I run the program, you can see that program is finished very well. That's the topic. And if I write triple quotes, and the triple quote function is also the same, if I need to write like ANKIT and then they in some of the double quotes, now if I write they here and then if I give space and close this and if I run this, see, this function gave none of the errors. That's the use of using three different layouts of writing string. So I think this must be enough for you to understand what is the string exactly. Now let me move on to integer. Now integer can be of any type. If I print wait a minute, if I print for 56, it'll if I print my name Ankit De, now you understand that this will result into a syntax error because it's not a data type. That is, it's not a string. If I try printing it, it will result into a C. It's given an error, that syntax invalid. So it's a invalid syntax. Now if I'll give the appropriate syntax, now see, this is a string, you all guys know, I just explained, and then if I run it, see, it's printed the exact same value with saying that none of the program error. So if I now try printing 67, what do you guys think? Will it result into error? Go in the comment section and write it fast, I want to see. And if I run it now, it'll not give an error and it's printing the number. What does it mean? It means that this number is another data type known as integer. These integer data types are generally all the possible numbers in the number system. It can eventually be 0 too. If I print, yes, it's saying 0. This all integers can be understandable easily by Python, that this are numbers. So if I try printing 567 and if I print it, see, it exactly got printed the 567 with no error. And this data type is basically known as a integer data type. Now I am going to explain you another function using which you can understand that which type of data is it. That function's name is type. If I write here type and then if I run the program, okay, see, I have written type and then given that argument 567, and then I need to print that type argument. If I print it, just see what happens. See, it's giving a class int. In Python, all these types of classes are determined in its own program file, and this class is specified as integer type. Now if I do one thing, stay tuned guys, this video is going to be much interesting and much knowledgeable. Now if I print this ANKIT day and if I run it, now see this class is str. Str stands for short form of string. In this way we can easily check that whether the data type is a string or a boolean or a float or an integer. Now I think you understood int. Int stands for all the possible numbers in the number system. Now let me move on to the third important data type, that is float. Float, what does that actually mean? Float means all the decimal numbers possible. Now you all must be wondering that if I print 5.67, will this give an error or it not? Is it a string or an integer? You guys must be confused with it because it's not a string, because it's not concatenated inside a single quote or double quote, and it's not exactly seems to be a integer type because I told that integer will be a whole number too. Now these categories of number are generally termed as float. If I try printing it, it will print exactly the same value. Now all the decimal numbers that are possible in the number system are basically termed as float data type. So let me check, you can check too that what kind of data type is it. Now if I write the type, just now I have explained the type function, and if I print the type, then you will see what happens. If I printing it, see, it's giving the data type as float. Now I think that this is enough for understanding that this kind of arguments are specifically known as float. So if I try printing any other number like 456.67, and if I try printing it, it will give me float. So this is the main thing which float does. Float data type is basically all the decimals possible. Now let me come to our fourth and the last data type topic of today, that is boolean. Now booleans are two specific things that stands for true and false. There are two types of booleans that are true and false, nothing else. It's so simple and so easy. Try focusing guys. And do keep in mind that whenever you're writing any boolean, always write the first letter in capital, like TRUE. See, this color changes to green because Python understands that this is a boolean data type. Whenever I try printing it, it will result me in true, nothing else. But if I do like this, like TRUE true, and if I try printing it, it says program finished. But keep noticing guys, this is going to be much interesting. If I try printing true like this, and if I try printing it, as expected, name true is not defined. It is giving a name error because true doesn't understand by Python. But you must be wondering that I just told right now that true and false are understandable, but I think you have noticed the mistake. The mistake was in the first letter. I told that always the first letter should be in capital for Python in order to understand that this is a boolean data type. Now if I write this true and then I write printing it, see, the program got finished. Similarly with the false function, if I try false, false, and if I try running the code, see, exactly the same. Now I have told you that how you can easily check any type of data types type. So start fast and code, guys. You will learn in just a tweak. Okay, type of checking that number. Sorry, I have written a string here, and it's true. I said TRUE, true. Yes, you see the color change to blue. That means Python has already understood this data type. Now if I run the code, then you see what it is. Bool. Bool is again the short form for boolean. Now I think this must be understandable and enough for you to understand booleans. So let us quickly revise. I have told firstly the string. Anything in Python can be written as string. Now string data types are all the words, all the letters, sentences, etc, etc. Everything in Python is a string. Now let me make a quick function for you guys to understand that what is it. Now I am writing a multi-line function. Okay, so here is a number. Now I'll show you. Sorry, it's the type function of 6.78. okay, then lastly I printed type of true. I think this will be enough. Yeah, see this function, guys. I have written print type of. You can easily understand that first one is a string, second one is a number or integer, third one is a float, and the last one is a boolean. Now if I try printing it, you will see all the classes. That class str, that is string, int integer, float is float, and bool stands for boolean. With that said, I think you have gathered enough knowledge for understanding the immutable data types in this video. I'll cover the last immutable data type, that is a tuple, in the previous videos. Okay, so stay tuned for the next upcoming video, and today's like aim will be 15, and I know that you all guys will smash the like button and complete it in a very short interval. So I believe you all guys that you must be enjoyed with this Python session. Keep learning, keep growing, keep tinkering. Happy Python journey. Ankit signing off. Peace. Bye guys.